This is my third attempt to shoot this video. I'm finding it very difficult to do this without going off on an absolute tangent. Because what I'm here to talk about today is bullying and gatekeeping in our hobby with the wealth of experience I have from being involved in other niche nerd subcultures. I don't know if all of you have noticed, but I am a giant, massive, unbelievable nerd. I have been involved in so many weird subcultures in my life, and I've watched them grow, fall, come back together, fall apart again, and I want to put us in a position where we don't perpetuate a cycle of bullying and gatekeeping that leads to us not taking off as we are poised to do right now. Following the announcement of Strife X by Out of Darts, I saw a post in one of our Discords that essentially read, "Gatekeeping is a good thing. It keeps undesirable elements out of the community." And I was immediately incensed. I lost my ever-loving mind. And good on that Discord, the moderators came in, got a handle on things, and shut that conversation down before, I'll be real, I could jump all over someone. But it set me to thinking. And all weekend I've been thinking. I'm filming this on a Monday. And I decided that what I needed to do to feel good about our community going forward is to sit right here and talk to you about bullying and gatekeeping in nerd subcultures and how we as a community can avoid it and ensure positive growth going forward on the back of releases from companies that are actually in the best interest of us growing new talent. For our purposes, I'm going to define gatekeeping as the process by which people take authority of deciding who does or does not have access to rights of the community and identity. All right? So we are defining gatekeeping to be individuals with the knowledge base choosing to exclude other individuals from being a part of the community because they don't have that knowledge base. And that's my fundamental issue with the term gatekeeping being good. Gatekeeping is never good. Gatekeeping is the concept that you are denying individuals entry into your space, be it an internet space or a physical space, because they don't understand it well enough for you. I've seen it in other cultures. The comic book guy on The Simpsons, right? In Fantastic Four number 18, that guy isn't good for growing your culture. Being that guy doesn't help you get bigger, doesn't help us gain more notoriety. And we have to grow. At the point we as a community are right now, we're not really getting bigger. I see it in my local club, right? We pick up a couple of people every few months, but if somebody else drops off, we're basically maintaining our attendance. And have been since the release of Nexus, right? The Nexus changed the hobby overnight. All of a sudden, you had these young people able to join our hobby, come to an event, and be competitive. You know, right out of the gate, the Nexus made you competitive. And then what did it take to make Nexus competitive at a higher level? Well, just a spring upgrade. I can teach anyone to do a spring upgrade. Or they could find online how to do a spring upgrade. But finally, thanks to Strife X, which, for the record, this gatekeeping thing, right, happened Strife X Day. Thanks to Strife X, we have competition-ready flywheelers available to the average consumer. And before anybody gets up in arms, well, it's always been available. You just had to put in the time. That's part of it. They don't know how to put in the time, and that knowledge isn't available to them, to their knowledge, right? They don't know that there's 1,000 videos on YouTube about how to rewire a Strife. So Nerf has finally agreed to give them a hot Strife in a box off the shelf. And you were asking for that for years. How long have we, as the Nerf internet community, wanted a hot Strife? Or, just a Strife re-release, right? Well, here it is. They've pulled a Ford Motor Company. The Strife X is just the 2005 Mustang. It's the package you love, with modern upgrades to make your life better. Those wheels, one of you, I don't know who, but one of you is going to pull those wheels out of that Strife and build something with them that is going to take my breath away. I know it's coming. But having access to the Strife X is going to mean that someone who's never been to your club before is going to show up to play your game ready to go. And you need to be ready to accept them and support them. We are not a big culture. We all know that the Nerf internet community is fairly small. We go to big events. We all know each other. We've been interacting with each other for years. And Strife X, because it's a Hasbro product, because it's Nerf branded, is going to be a huge release for us growing the hobby. And we need to accept it. We need to come together, and when these young people or old people, right, whatever the age group, comes to our event, we need to be ready to help them, to move them forward, to make them a part of what we do. So when they ask you, what's that? And you're holding a griffin, you're ready to explain what the modding part of the subculture is. You're ready to move them forward. We can't exclude people for lack of knowledge. That's not acceptable. We can exclude people for the right reasons. I want to make that understood. I'm not advocating for misanthropes, misogynists, transphobes, any sort of phobic of individuals because they don't match their specific set of norms they think is appropriate. None of those people need to be here. I agree with that. We need to continue to be an open and inclusive subculture, which means we're not going to include people who are a problem, but we are going to include people who are new. And if that person proves themselves to be a problem, then yeah, you're going to have to get rid of them. But that's part of every culture. Not everyone will be a good fit. But we have to assume people are intrinsically decent until proven otherwise. Going forward with this massive influx of people I expect to see from Strife X's release, you're going to have to be prepared to answer questions. You're going to have to be prepared for people who have not been a part of our culture, who all of a sudden are, and are exploring for the first time so many exciting new things. You're going to have to be prepared to answer questions about how do you wire a Strife. It's not hard. A lot of us have done it, but you need to be prepared to explain it or point them at something that will help them. That's our job as community members, as community leaders. Those of us who are in a position to be running clubs, we need to be ready to answer a lot of questions. And I'd also advise you to buy a lot of iPro, because you're going to need it, and people aren't going to bring it on their own. We are in a position to end a cycle of gatekeeping and bullying that takes place in nerd cultures. We don't have to take our bump in membership the way that tabletop role-playing games did. There is every chance that Strife X can do for us what Critical Role and Dimension 20 and all these other popular live streams have done for Dungeons and Dragons. 5 years ago, Dungeons and Dragons wasn't cool. People didn't talk about their game. Voice actors on the internet certainly weren't playing it for thousands and thousands of viewers every Thursday night. So don't push people away just because you want your safe subculture to stay safe forever. Welcome people with the hope that you can make your safe subculture a safe place for them as well. because if they're coming to us, they probably need us. I know this has been a little rambly. It's really hard to put my thoughts together on something I'm this passionate about and this concerned about. If you have questions, if you want to talk to me about it, if you want to get together and have a video call where you and I can hash out how we do this, I'd be happy to talk to you. But it is my solemn hope and wish going forward that this community continues to grow and prosper, and that we do it increasingly together. Thank you very much for watching. I'm James, and this has been the Talon X Armory.